All right, here I am again. Hey, I know I talked a lot in the last hour, um, but there's one more thing. Because sometimes you just have to like talk when you feel it. That's all. Talk when you feel it. And I'm really, thanks guys. There was about 100 people that watched the last video. Even if you just watched a second of it, that's kind of awesome. But there's one other thing that I felt in my heart I want to talk about, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I want to share with you. Hey Danielle, how are you? I miss you. Come New Year's if you can. Bring the whole family. I miss you guys so much. But so this is something I want to share, and it's something that happened to me in 2012. I met two different men. Oh, I miss you. I met two different men in 2012. They ended up becoming really good friends of mine, very good friends of mine, very close friends of mine. Both of which came from a pretty, what's the word? Because I hate these labels. You want to call it white privilege, you want to call it prestige, you want to call it abundance, whatever you want to call it. Two people, same kind of bank account, two different stories. And it's been a long time. I've actually really wanted to share this story for a while now. But again, it's the end of 2017 and it's time it's talked about. So the first person, man, that I met had a lot, were from a very wealthy family, and they listened to the conversation of, you're a bad person because you have wealth. And their whole life, people only wanted to be friends with them because they had money, and they would use them, and they never felt connected with people. They always felt like, do you like me because of my money, or do you like me because of me? And maybe both people felt that. Maybe both people felt that. But there was a shift in mentality between the two folks. And maybe this can just be a story. Maybe let's just make this into a story. Let's make it into a story. It's better that way. Hey Jessica, good to see you. I've been listening to your videos. They're very good. Keep doing them. They're good. So the first man decides, well, the only way I can fit into my society, because they hate wealth so much and they don't like me based on what my family has accumulated, I want to deny all of it. I hate my family for having anything, and I deny all of it, and I'm going to just try to earn my way through, but I'm going to deny any kind of gift that my family ever gave me, because I want to prove that there's no such thing as white privilege, and I don't want to be a part of that. So he denies everything that his family wants to give him, and he tries to make it on his own. And hey Dino, what's up? So a friend of the family was a very elderly lady who gave him a whole bunch of vintage clothing and vintage books and vintage jewelry and all these different things, and said, hey, whatever you want to do with this, go with it. Value it. I valued it my whole life. I collected all these beautiful things, these beautiful clothes, all this jewelry, all these amazing books, all this stuff. I want you to have it so that you can create whatever you want to have in your world. So this first man let's call him Ben. Okay, let's call him Ben. I'm not going to use real names. Ben decides, okay, I'm going to put this, he had this really cool Airstream attached to his truck. Filled up the Airstream with all those things. He travels across the country. But every time he stopped, he would give all of these beautiful things away for pennies. And he would dumpster dive. And he got hooked on heroin. And he had a whiskey problem. And he finally found his way to LA. And I met him when I was when I was in Los Angeles. You know, I had West 11, but I also love vintage clothing. And so I would set up on Saturday mornings in Silver Lake and have like vintage clothes and my art and all kinds of things. Well, I remember seeing Ben across the way, and there was something that told me, you need to know this person. So I walked over and I said, hey, my name's Kim. He says, hey, my name's Ben. Good to know you. Good to know you too. I said, do you have a place to stay tonight? And he said, actually, I don't. And I said, well, I think you should come back to the brewery. And he says, okay. You know, and there was nothing weird. It was just like, you know what? I just like you, you know? And we created friendship. Second person that I meet, he has everything. And he works with the homeless. And he does all kinds of amazing things. But he values his history. He doesn't deny the wealth that he was given. He uses it to be able to do amazing things all over the world, to touch all kinds of different hearts. And I meet him too. Interestingly enough, and let's call him Bill. Okay, so that's Bill. Well, I met the two of them at the same time. So with Ben, he was very quick to want to give. He wanted to earn his way through life. He wanted to earn his way through life. He wanted to prove that he didn't want this idea of, well, all these things have been given to me and everyone's hated me for that. So therefore I've got to completely deny that in my life. And I'm going to just earn it. And yet everything that he was trying to supposedly earn, he wasted away. And every opportunity that he had to do amazing things, he pissed it away. I mean, there's no other word for it. He pissed it away. The other person, Bill, interestingly enough, there is a connection between the two. Because as Ben was giving away these books, and I was trying to create value to what Ben was doing, I looked through all of his things, and I love vintage, you know. I saw all the amazing things he had, and I said, these are valuable. You can't just give these away for $10. Like, this is important stuff. He's like, you know, whatever. I said, no, if you want to earn, then you need to value what this woman gave you. She held on to this stuff for so long, and it's beautiful these are beautiful things. You need to value that. He was like, he wanted to earn, but then he also dismissed everything he had. He gave it away, or he pissed it away, or he'd spend the money the little bit of money that he had on drugs. And to get personal, he smelled of death. He did. And I tried very hard to help him and to tell him that sometimes yeah, the world's interesting. And here I am, I'm in Los Angeles and I have nothing, and yet I'm dealing with this construct. And I said, look, we're all given different stories, and we're also given different resources in life. But you're given an amazing gift. There's a reason why your parents and your grandparents worked really hard to be able to give what they gave to you, and you could do amazing things with it. And he didn't want to hear that because he wanted to earn it himself. Because so many people told him that you're just a rich boy and you're nothing. You're nothing. But you know what I would love to do? I would love to go back and talk individually with every single person that said that to him and find out what they're doing in their own lives that's so good, that's so great. Are they really changing the world? Are they using the resources that they have in their own life to do good things? Or were they just trying to criticize him out of jealousy? But they didn't do anything themselves. I'm not trying to sound harsh right now, but you'll understand by the end of this conversation why I say this. Now, one of the books that Ben had, I was trying to create value, and we created this book event. We were going to sell all these books that he had, beautiful books, amazing books, old, super, super old, amazing books. One of the books I knew needed to go to Bill. I just opened up the book and I knew this book needed to go to Bill. So I asked Ben. I said, Ben, would it be okay if we just pulled this book away out of the inventory and we gave it to my friend Bill? Because I really think that Bill could truly use this. He's looking for something. He's been asking about these kind of things, and this book is right here. Let's just give this to Bill. And Ben didn't even know Bill. And Ben said, yeah, let's do it. I said, great. Awesome. Let's do it. So the book went to Bill, and it changed Bill's entire life. Bill created an entire new world of reaching out to thousands and thousands of people by inspiring them with words. Inspiring them through his actions. And he used all of his resources to do amazing things in the world. Every little thing he did had nothing to do with money. He had it. But he just wanted to create kindness in the world. And he focused totally, 100% on that. Now Ben, he kept falling into that language of how much can I lose to be accepted? How much do I need to leave behind for people to finally accept me? I want you guys to think about this right now in the construct of what they talk about with people not liking people that have money. Yeah, there are industries that are really nasty, and I talk about it all the time. Absolutely. But I also know amazing people that have amazing resources that do amazing things. And when you hate on people simply because of their family or their background, their resources, and you just want to tear them apart, The end result is Ben. I found out that Ben died a year ago. He was part of the West 11 group. Bill was part of that too. But Ben was part of that too. They never met because of time. When Bill was away, Ben was there, and when Ben was away, Bill was there. Ben overdosed. They didn't say it in the obituary. But he was slowly killing himself because he felt this guilt and this non-acceptance and this isolation from most people in the world that don't have what he had. And he was doing everything he could to be as low as possible for those folks to be accepted. And he died last year. And I want to tell you guys something. He was one of the most beautiful spirits. He was a really good person. He came from a family that was really kind of whack and very elitist. But his own individual spirit, he wanted to do good. But he kept focusing on how little can I show I can be to be accepted. And that's what killed him. How can I explain this? There's a language going on right now. There's a language that is very opposed to what people didn't necessarily know they were getting born into. And there's this innate hate for them, regardless of what they are about individually. Ben fell into that language, and he's gone. He's not with us anymore. And that's a very sad thing. He was my friend. And he was a good person. He's a really good person. You've got Bill, who he's not going to lower his energy to fit the lowest denominator. And he's not going to deny the resources that he's been given as a blessing so that he's able to be a blessing in the highest way possible to so many people in the world. He's been able to take his resources and do so many amazing things in this world. He's touched so many lives. And he doesn't ask anything for return, but he also accepts the love and the blessing and the grace that he's been given by his family to be able to do what he does. Can you hear what I'm trying to say here in this story? Can you hear what I'm trying to say? If you think you don't have enough in order to do what you love to do, let me tell you right now, you got it. You've got everything you need right now, no matter where you're at. Whether you have a zero bank account or you've got $100 billion. You've got everything you need. Okay? So there's no need for jealousy. There's no need for tearing other people down when there's kindness, when we're trying to figure out the world. There's no need for that. What I am trying to say is that language can be a blessing or it can be a curse. and what you get tuned into can destroy you, or can create amazing abundance to create beautiful things in the world. If you focus your entire life on thinking that you don't have enough, and you tear down the people that you think have more than you, and you know what? I gotta tell you, a lot of times it's not quite the truth. You might have more than them. They're just following their heart. But even the people, those of you that have been indoctrinated in this conversation of the elite blankly are bad people, I'm going to tell you straight up, it's not true, from personal experience and personal people I know. But when you tear down people because they innately have something more than what you have, and you want them to be destroyed innately because they have more than you, you kill them. And that kind of conversation is what Ben lost his life to. I know that for a fact. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of watching good people, whether they're wealthy, whether they're middle class, whether they're in poverty, whatever that means, whether they're dollar cents broke, whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they're any kind of race, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you really believe in equality, that means it's the character. And what is character? Character is your thought process. It's your thought process. That's all it is. It's your thought process. It has nothing to do with anything else. If you can get beyond the superficial of feeling threatened by someone having more than you or less than you, or being a different skin color, or being a different whatever, and you get to know their thought process, and you find out that their thought process is either really beautiful or really destructive, that's the true judgment. And the only thing I can say in retrospect with Ben being gone now is I want to validate his thought process. He was a really beautiful person and he had a really great heart. But he listened to that energy that said, no matter what your thought process is, innately, you're a bad person because you're a rich white boy. No matter what you do, you can live as low as possible. We're still going to hate you. He listened to that. He tuned into that so much it destroyed him. And yet he was someone that had so many resources and had such a heart to want to do so much good for all of us. And then you've got Bill, who he's not going to accept that crap. Thank God. Thank God he's not going to accept that crap. He won't listen to that. He accepts his abundance. He accepts what's going on in his world. And he takes that resource and he takes that abundance and he does amazing things with it. But you're not going to destroy him. Out of what? Jealousy? Thinking that you can't do that yourself? Of course you can. Of course you can. Of course you can do that. Everyone can do that. But we need heroes in the world. We need heroes in the world. And if we have people like a certain Batman that does currently have wonderful resources to be able to do amazing things, Why are we going to tear them down? And I'm just a girl that knows the both of them. And I care about both of them. I miss the one, love the other. And you need to realize the difference. Because sometimes we attack the wrong people. Sometimes we do that. It's easy. So, Ben's, it's not his real name. I don't think it's appropriate for me to tell you his real name. But he was the nephew of Jackie Onassis. And I hope that you all know that JFK Jr. was a really good person. That wasn't Ben. I didn't know him. I didn't know JFK Jr. But I knew his relative. That was Ben. And he wanted to do good things, but he listened. He listened to that crap. And for all of those that want to talk about the privilege, what are you doing in your own life? What are you doing with your own resources? Before you criticize others and you want to tear down others, before you know them, before you know their heart, before you know what they're really doing, what are you doing in your own life to create love? What are you doing? What are you doing to do selfless acts? It's easy to criticize. It's very easy to criticize. It's a weak way. It's the weak way. What are you doing? What are you doing to do love? It's important. I'm not going to be liked for this conversation. That's fine. That's okay. But it's an important thing. And it's also important for me to finally talk about this because I found out that he passed away 7 months ago. And it was so painful to know that he was gone. Because you guys don't know what we lost. And you don't know what we lost through JFK Jr. Do you know that the only reason they destroyed JFK Jr. is because they knew that if JFK Jr. was alive during the election, Bush Jr. would never be elected. Do you know that? Think about that. Think about what the world would be like if JFK Jr. had been president instead of Bush Jr. In a totally different world. Totally different world. But we don't pay attention, do we? We pay attention to the stupid things in life. What were we paying attention to back then? We were paying attention to like Gwen Stefani, and we were paying attention to like Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and Paris Hilton, and we didn't pay attention to any of these things. I did. It's because I'm just weird. But you know what? If no one else is going to say it, I'll say it because I knew him. I knew Ben. I'm not going to tell you his real name. Because I don't know, I don't feel right about it. It feels weird, but he knows who I'm talking about, him. We lost a really good spirit there. And that's why no matter what anyone wants to say about privilege, what are you doing in your own life? What are you doing for your own people? What are you doing for the people in your own community? The only privilege, that word privilege, means you have the honor of being in a certain position because other people look up to you. They trust you. But if trust is gone, well, then it's gone. That's all that means. And it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what background you are. It doesn't matter anything. It matters what your thought process is. And if your thought process is trustworthy and the highest level of caring about other people, that's all that matters. But when you try to tear down other people on superficial levels, sometimes you destroy the good people. Actually, more times than not. Because you know who created that whole concept? George Soros. George Soros created that whole narrative of what people in colleges now are learning about white privilege. Do you think George Soros is a good person? For the love of God, he's the fucking Nazi. Sorry for swearing. It's the truth. You're going to listen to a Nazi to tell you what is right and wrong? And label certain people a one way or the other? Come on. We're better than that. We're better than that. George Soros has paid for so many things in this country and other countries that have destroyed everything. Certain language, Washington Post is involved in it. I'm going on a rant here, but I'm just telling you. It's the truth. You think you're going to hear the truth from Washington Post? Come on now. Come on now. Recently, there was another young gentleman that lost his life based on the same kind of crap. He wasn't black enough. He wasn't white enough. I'm done. Can we just love each other? And can we just appreciate people that have more means than us or less means than us that are doing good things? And don't throw them under the bus. And don't tell them that they need to live as small as possible in order to be accepted. So what are you going to do for them? When they get so small, are you going to be there for them? When they give up everything and they're dumpster diving in order to be accepted, are you going to be there for them? And that's what he did, actually. You have the nephew of Jackie Onassis dumpster diving to prove a point, to show that he wanted to reject all of that stuff to be accepted. Who was there for them? Who was there for him? Was it enough? Honor the people in the world that do have amazing means, that are doing really good things. That's a good start. We need those folks. And we don't need them self-destructing. We don't. Grateful for Bills in the world. And Bill, you know who you are. And we don't need any more Bens in the worlds where we lose them. I don't want to lose any more Bens. And I don't think that we need to lose any more Bens in the world. So that's the only other story I wanted to share. I know it's a little dark. I know it's a little deep. I know it's a little tough to hear. I know I'm hitting upon some certain triggers with certain people. But I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time, for about a year. And it's the anniversary of his death. It's been a year. And I want to say I love you, Ben. And I miss you terribly. And you're always with us. All right. Good night, guys. Love you. Bye. Peace. I swear I'm done for the night. Eee.